I want to extend the gratefulness to every single person here who supports us and supports our country. You know, every single time I see a person who is wearing the Ukrainian flag, my heart sings, for real, because I know that people from literally the other side of the world support us and know the struggle that we are fighting and say, we stand with Ukraine. And as my mom says, if there's two Ukrainians who can sing national anthem, Ukraine is alive and running.
The war atrocities that we have seen on TV is something that hit us very hard. And when we saw the war took place, the Taiwanese people feel that we need to stand together with Ukraine. And therefore, since day one, Taiwan joined the international condemnation against Russia. Taiwan joined the international sanctions against Russia. And Taiwan also joins the democratic world to provide support to Ukraine. The first thing is that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has already come up with a budget approved by our cabinet at an amount of around 56 million US dollars. It's going to be used to continue to provide support to Ukraine. I would like to say that Ukraine stands as a role model for Taiwan. When we see the bravery of the Ukrainians in fighting against the invasion of Russia, you have touched the hearts of the Taiwanese people. Your bravery have shown us what the self-determination to defend yourself is, and we want to learn from you, and you have been a role model for us. We both are fighting for freedom and democracy, and we know Ukraine is going to prevail. Ukraine is going to win. Glory to Ukraine, and we will win with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!
接下来，我们很荣幸邀请远从乌克兰来台的朋友，国会议员 Kira Rudik 致辞。Now we're honored to invite Honorary Kira Rudik, member of the Ukrainian Parliament, who flew to Taiwan all the way from Ukraine to deliver her remarks.
Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure and honor, and I'm so humbled to stand here today in front of all of you. I know that there are so many Ukrainians here in the room, and I want to share my love and support to you because I know how hard it is to be outside the country. Because of my work right now, I travel a lot to spread the word about Ukraine and to make sure that every single country knows the truth. But I can tell you honestly, it's much more calmer and normal when you're sitting in a bomb shelter with the loved ones, even when you're somewhere in safety, but outside the country. So I know this feeling and I feel for you. I want to extend the gratefulness to every single person here who supports us and supports our country. You know, every single time I see a person who is wearing the Ukrainian flag, my heart sings, for real, because I know that people from literally the other side of the world support us and know the struggle that we are fighting and say, we stand with Ukraine.
所以大家好，今天非常荣幸可以在这里与大家齐聚一堂。我在这里看到非常多的乌克兰人，我想要向他们传达我的爱与支持。我知道在这个时候，在乌克兰以外的地方，其实是对心灵上是一个很大的负担。因为工作的关系，我到世界各地去告诉大家有关乌克兰的事情，希望大家都知道就是事实上的状况。但老实说，其实如果现在我可以跟我的爱的人一起在乌克兰的防空洞里面，我心灵上其实是比较踏实的。我要感谢每一个支持乌克兰的人，我每一次看到有人带着乌克兰的国旗，我都心里感到非常的感动。我知道世界上有很多角落的人都知道乌克兰现在经历的磨难与我们站在一起。
I want to share a personal story with you, and it's not a story about bomb shelters or atrocities, but about something actually beautiful. On the day one of war, the bombarding of Kiev started at 5 a.m. we did not anticipate that, and we member of parliaments woke up just as anybody else, terrified, not knowing what to do. Evacuate your families. It was just a time when everybody were in distress and despair. We knew that the main goal of the parliament at the time of war is to gather together and vote for the martial law to begin. This is like the key thing that you have to do as a parliamentarian. And then like whatever happens. And we were calling each other with the other party leaders, figuring out if we are even able to get enough parliamentarians into the Rada to vote, to have enough votes for that, because it was critical. And we were calling people and people were not picking up, and Kyiv was whole in traffic, and we didn't even know if people will be physically able to go there. But this is something that we had to do, and we said, okay, we will try to do our best. Our security said that we will have 10 minutes in Ukrainian parliament. This is just enough for us to get in and out. This is what they can give us as a security time, and that's it. And you know, Ukrainian parliament was built by Soviets, and it's a huge building that is built to show that not even that you're a politician, you are still humble and small piece of the huge socialism building. And you can imagine this building being dark, full of military people, with no lights, and the windows covered with the bags of sand. And we were getting very quickly to the chambers, and we were looking at each other, and when everybody got in, we have seen that of 420 parliamentarians, 400 came. Because we thought that if doctors are curing and our soldiers will be fighting, we will have to perform our duty. And it was one of the most emotional moments of my life, because we were so scared, but also we felt united. And this is what we were trying to bring with us for the 8 months of the full-scale invasion. For the 10 minutes that we were in the chambers and we were desperately voting for everything that needed, we were singing national anthem. And as my mom says, if there's 2 Ukrainians who can sing national anthem, Ukraine is alive and running. I think today there are enough people in the room that we can do something like that. Don't you think so? Ще не вмерла України ні слава, ні воля. Ще нам, браття українці, усміхнеться доля. Згинуть наші вороженьки, як роса на сонці. Запануєм і ми, браття, у своїй сторонці. Душу і тіло ми положим за нашу свободу і покажем, що ми браття козацького роду. Слава Україні!
所以今天我想要跟各位分享一个我自己经历的小故事。那这个故事呢，不是关于在防空洞躲避这个炮击，也不是关于俄军的恶行，而是一个非常美好的故事。 这个故事呢，就是俄乌战争的第1天的时候，基辅是早上凌晨5点就被炮轰，就被攻击，这是我们没有预期到的，所以我们当时国会议员我们都非常的害怕，我们也不知道该怎么办，我们感到非常恐惧。但是我们知道，我们那时候的工作就是要赶快到国会去投票，进行戒严，通过戒严，这是我们的工作。所以我们一直在互相打电话，看我们能不能聚集到足够的国会议员来进行投票来通过戒严，但是我们不知道能不能凑到足够的票数，也不知道因为这个交通的关系，我们有没有办法到国会去。但是我们知道，我们必须要尽一切所能来达到这件事情。所以最后呢，我们就是花了10分钟，我们赶快的在投票，因为军队在说我们只有10分钟可以保护我们的安全，我们就必须要马上的撤离。那我们在乌克兰的国会大楼其实是苏联所建的，那你可以想象那个大楼，它是要告诉你，就算你是一个政治人物，你还是只是这个社会主义之下的一个渺小的人类而已。所以呢，这个大楼当时是非常黑暗的，而且所有的窗户都被沙包给挡起来。我们就非常快速的进入国会，而且当时我们看到420位乌克兰国会议员中有400位都到场了。当时我们知道医生和军队的这个士兵，他们都在进行他们的职责，所以我们身为国会议员，我们也必须要就符合我们的职责进行投票。那是我人生中最感动的一刻。虽然我们很害怕，但是我们全部都聚集在一起，我们有共同的目标。所以当时呢，我就想到我妈妈曾经说过，如果你在一间房间中有2个人会唱乌克兰国歌的话，那乌克兰永远就不会死亡，就是这个国家永远都会在。那我相信我们今天在场也有非常多的乌克兰人，所以我们就也可以来进行唱国歌的这个感动的这个仪式哦。谢谢。
接下来，我们很荣幸邀请远从立陶宛来的朋友，国会欧洲事务委员会副主席 Žygimantas Pavlonis 致辞。Next, we're honored to invite Honorary Žygimantas Pavlonis, Deputy Chair of the Lithuanian Seimas Committee on European Affairs, to deliver his remarks.
Well, Honorable Minister, my dear brothers and sisters Ukrainians, and all honorable representatives of different countries here. Well, I guess you are puzzled what actually he's doing here. Why Lithuanian? I will try to make it short. It started 700 years ago. Don't be afraid, it will not be 7 hours of lecture, but to make it very blunt, once from 13th century to the end of 18th century, together with Ukrainians, Belarusians, and Poles, we've been living in one big empire. That was the biggest state in Europe, like France and Spain all together. That was very liberal. Well, first of all, because, well, we were kind of pagan. We were not so Christian and civilized like Ukrainians. You know, for us, most important that we keep our borders safe from Mongol Tatars and Russians who were coming and killing us, well, mostly all that time. We were defeating them in battles of Orsha and so on. But by the end of 18th century, we became so liberal that, inspired by American experiment that we also created together with Americans, we adopted a constitution, first written constitution in Europe, only 4 years after Americans did it, with more or less all the liberties and dignities and so on. And we've been killed by free emperors because they didn't like that freedom experiment to be successful, of course. And that story continued. We were occupied by Russian Empire, then by Soviets, and then Lithuanians and Ukrainians, mostly the only nations who've been fighting with guerrillas. Like in Lithuania, we had 30,000 troops after Soviets occupied. Guerrillas who've been killing all Russians who entered, trying to create those communist kolkhozs and so on. We were the only nations with Ukrainians who were revolting in concentration camps. And we were the first to revolt against the Soviets. My Ukrainian friend reminded about those resistance moments in Parliament. We were also standing in the Parliament in the 90s. I was a young student then of philosophy. I saw my friends and school boys and girls, one of them Tatar, killed in front of my eyes by Soviet tanks. But we won then. It was our Tiananmen moment. We saw the Red Army stopped in front of our eyes. We resisted. The Gorbachev, the Nobel Prize winner, the wonderful Gorbachev who sent tanks to kill us, he stopped. It was too nasty for him to continue killing us. He just killed 14 Lithuanians then. So the only problem with our history, common history, was like we discuss sometimes with our brothers and sisters Poles, that our empire was called Rzeczpospolita of two nations, Lithuanians and Poles. We didn't recognize identity of Ukrainians. That was our big mistake. Maybe not so much Lithuanian, but okay, sorry for political incorrectness. But we have this debt to Ukrainians. And because we have that debt, Lithuanians and Poles and all other nations of Europe, after making all possible mistakes also in Bucharest NATO summit, when we succumbed for Putin's pressure, when he threatened us that he will occupy Ukraine in case we enlarge NATO, then we made a word to ourselves that till the end, that was actually my last toast with Ukrainian friends in Washington, D.C. Till the end of my life, I will do everything to get Ukrainians into EU and NATO. But here again, we have a little problem with that toast, because I think I will not have to live so long to see it happening. I think, according to our plan, Ukrainians will become members of the European Union in 2029. That's a Lithuanian plan. We will have to negotiate with our European brothers about that. And on NATO, we have Vilnius NATO summit next year. We have Biden coming. So we will do everything not to have another Bucharest. But then the mission of my life, because I thought that, okay, if we anchor Ukraine in EU and NATO, Lithuanians, we can live happily ever after, but not. We have to anchor your freedom here, because Taiwan is now the future epicenter of huge battle of autocracies and democracies. And I very much liked what Director Vincent said. If China is thinking about what Russia was thinking in Europe, they should think it twice, because we will fight. We will fight with everything we have. Because if somebody wants to kill freedom on this island, they are going to dominate globally. And this will not happen. We stopped all the odds on our borders, and we will defend your freedom. So, for our freedom and yours, like we've been saying in Middle Ages. Thank you.
吴部长、各位乌克兰的朋友、各位各国的代表，大家好。那可能你们在想，为什么一个立陶宛的议员会今天来到这里致辞呢？那其实是要从700年前开始说起。其实以前呢，我们是一个大帝国，我们是一起的，我们是一个非常大的帝国。大概跟今天的法国跟西班牙是合在一起这么大，那我们非常崇尚这个自由的价值，我们那时候就是要防范这个蒙古还有这个俄国的入侵，而且我们也成功的击退他们了。但是在18世纪的时候呢，我们效仿，我们受到美国的经验的启发，我们也在我们的国家制定了宪法，这是欧洲第一部的宪法，而且是在美国制定宪法后仅仅4年，我们就制定了这个宪法。但是当时就有许多独裁者，他们就不开心。那这个故事就是告诉我们，俄国跟苏联，我们后来也是被他们所占据。那这个俄国也是推崇这个共产的价值。我们立陶宛是第一个起来反抗苏联的这个共产主义的国家。那我们也是刚才听到这个乌国的代表国会议员讲到，在国会的这个奋战的这个状况，我其实也有相似的经验。我当时是哲学的学生，那我也亲眼看到我的同学在我的面前被这个苏联的坦克给杀死。但是我们当时呢最后是阻止了 了这个红色军队占领我们的国家。那所以我们其实有很多相似的经验、相似的历史价值，但是我们以前其实跟这个波兰感情比较好，我们那时候没有关注到，没有和乌克兰这么友好，那这是我们可以说是欠乌克兰一个人情这样子。所以呢，其实后来我们也想要还这个人情嘛，所以我们就非常希望可以让乌克兰就是加入欧盟还有这个北约。这是我在华府担任大使的时候，这是我说我这个人生的一个志业，我希望可以帮助乌克兰加入欧盟以及这个北约。那问题是我可能不会活那么久，就是发生这件事情可能要很久，我可能不会活得那么久。但是其实呢，现在我们已经有很多好消息了，这个欧盟应该是很快就可以加入，而北约我们明年也会在维尔纽斯在我们的国家进行高峰会，那到时美国总统拜登也会来，那我到时候希望可以努力的让这个乌克兰可以加入。那更重要的是，我们现在呢要保卫的是台湾的自由，因为台湾是未来民主与威权之间的这个对抗的一个中心，一个世界的中心。所以中国如果看了俄国的例子，如果想要攻占侵略台湾的话，那他可能要再想想，因为我们一定会起身捍卫我们的国家，捍卫到底。所以我们会致力努力的捍卫乌克兰与台湾的这个自由。非常谢谢。
恭请外交部吴部长致辞。Now, please join me in welcoming Foreign Minister Joseph Wu to deliver his remarks.
Dear friends, today we are all Ukrainians. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is very proud to be able to host the reception today in honor of our Ukrainian friends, including our Ukrainian friends coming from afar, traveling for 38 hours, and also the Ukrainian community here in Taiwan.
今天我想我们全部在场所有人都是乌克兰人，外交部非常的荣幸今天能够举办这个酒会，为我们的乌克兰的朋友来进行致意，还有我们的国会议员旅行了38个小时到这边和我们在一起。
The war atrocities that we have seen on TV is something that hit us very hard. And when we saw the war took place, the Taiwanese people feel that we need to stand together with Ukraine. We saw the killing of innocent people. We saw the damages to the residential area, to the hospitals, to the schools. That is something that we see that should not have happened.
所以我们在电视上看到在乌克兰发生的战争的暴行的时候，我们都感到十分的心碎。就是从战争刚开始的时候，我们台湾人就知道我们必须和乌克兰站在一起。我们看到战火波及，影响到的是无辜的百姓，战火波及的是他们的住所、他们的医院、他们的学校，这些都是不应该发生的事情。
And therefore, since day one, Taiwan joined the international condemnation against Russia. Taiwan joined the international sanctions against Russia, and Taiwan also joins the democratic world to provide support to Ukraine.
所以从第一天开始，台湾就加入了世界上所有民主国家的行列，来谴责俄国的暴行，还有对俄国进行制裁。我们和所有的民主国家一起支持乌克兰。
And this is something that we will continue to do. And here I would like to announce several things. The first thing is that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has already come up with a budget approved by our cabinet, an amount of around 56 million US dollars. It's going to be used to continue to provide support to Ukraine.
所以台湾会继续协助乌克兰。那我今天也想要做几个声明。第一个就是我们外交部已经列出了预算，也是经过内阁同意的。我们台湾政府将捐赠5600万美元协助乌克兰重建。
But of course, Taiwan is a democracy, and therefore the budget needs to go through the legislative end. And here with our 6 legislators from across the parties here tonight, and I am sure that the budget is going to be approved.
所以，但是台湾是民主国家哦，所以这个预算还是要经过立法院来审核、来通过。但是我们今天看到在场也有这个6位的立委，那他们也是跨党派的代表，所以相信这个预算是没问题，可以顺利通过的。
And for this budget, we would like to continue to support the Ukrainians to rebuild their schools, their hospitals, or other infrastructure that the Ukrainian government or the Ukrainian people think necessary.
所以这一笔预算呢，会帮助乌克兰来支持他们重建的工作，不管是学校、医院，还是重要的关键基础设施，只要是乌克兰的政府以及人民认为有需要这个重建的，我们都非常乐意协助帮忙。
And part of this budget would be for Taiwan to continue to work together with like-minded partners in Central and Eastern Europe, including the representatives that are represented over here, Poland, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic. And of course, we'll continue to work together with Lithuania. By joining together, we will be able to rebuild Ukraine, to rebuild your beautiful country.
所以这一笔预算呢，也会让台湾继续的和我们理念相近的国家，尤其是中东欧的理念相近的伙伴一起合作，像是波兰、斯洛伐克、捷克共和国，还有当然我们立陶宛，我们今天他们的代表都来到现场。相信只要我们团结在一起，我们一定能够帮助乌克兰重建他们美好的国家。
And the second thing I would like to announce is that we will open the Taiwan-Europe Connectivity Scholarships to the Ukrainian students for application. We already have Taiwan Scholarship and also Taiwan Fellowship open to the Ukrainian students to apply. Now the Taiwan-Europe Connectivity Scholarships will also be open.
所以再来第2个我要宣布的事情是，外交部明年的台欧联结奖学金名额将开放给乌克兰的学生来申请。那这是在已经开放给乌克兰学生及学者的台湾奖学金和奖助金之外的额外的名额。
I know we are not in charge of education. Education is Ministry of Education's domain. But we are also discussing with the Ministry of Education to urge universities here in Taiwan to open up scholarships for the Ukrainian students as well.
所以当然我们是外交部，所以教育并不是我们的组长的职责，但是我们也与这个主管教育的教育部正在进行相关的讨论。我们呼吁他们让台湾的大学都开放更多的奖学金名额，让乌克兰的学生可以来到台湾就学。
The third thing I would like to announce is that we have already established a task force on working together with Ukraine, and the location is in Poland. You probably have heard that we did not have an office. We do not have an office in Kyiv. And contacting with friends in Ukraine had to go through our office in Moscow. And we don't think it's the right thing to do. And therefore, we are going to move that part of our work to Poland, which is a staunch supporter for Ukraine and which is an excellent friend of Taiwan.
那再来第3个要宣布的事情是，我们已经建立了台湾和乌克兰合作的一个工作小组。那这个工作小组的办公地点是在波兰。那之前大家都知道，我们台湾其实在基辅是没有代表处的。那之前我们要和我们乌克兰的朋友进行相关联系工作的时候，必须要透过莫斯科的代表处。那我们认为这是不对的，所以我们希望将这些业务可以把它移动到波兰，因为波兰也是乌克兰的重要的支持者，也是台湾非常好的朋友。
Before I end today, I would like to say that Ukraine stands as a role model for Taiwan. When we see the bravery of the Ukrainians in fighting against the invasion of Russia, you have touched the hearts of the Taiwanese people. Your bravery have shown us what the self-determination to defend yourself is, and we want to learn from you. And you have been a role model for us.
所以呢，最后我在致辞即将结束的时候，我想要说，乌克兰是台湾非常好的一个模范。那看到你们勇敢的捍卫自己的家园，也让台湾的人民深深的动容。你们让我们看到有决心来自我保护是多么的珍贵的事情。
Now we are seeing that the Ukrainian people are pushing the Russians out inch by inch, and mile by mile, and city by city. I'm sure very soon you will push the invaders totally out of your borders.
所以我们也看到乌克兰的人民非常努力的奋战哦，就是在对抗俄军进行反击。俄军可以说是节节的败退，而乌克兰也渐渐的收复失土，收复他们被占据的城市。所以我相信最后乌克兰的人民一定可以把所有的俄军、所有的俄国人都赶出你们的家园。
We both are fighting for freedom and democracy, and we know Ukraine is going to prevail. Ukraine is going to win. Glory to Ukraine, and we will win with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!